Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today with a roundup of patterns from the Great British Sewing Bee, episode 4, series 10. It's Reduce, Reuse, Recycle week. Everything I talk about is available on our lovely website. You'll find links to everything I mentioned below, and you'll also find a link to our weekly newsletter for a healthy dose of sewing inspiration straight to your inbox. So what a week it was for the Sewing Bees. It was really challenging. I think the tasks were really challenging. And you know, they were crafting, they were quilting, they were dressmaking, they were fabric dyeing, they were doing so much was asked of them, and it made for a really interesting episode. The pattern challenge was a lovely idea, I thought. They took organza, stuffed it with colourful fabric scraps and then quilted it, and then used that quilted fabric that they'd created to make a bag. And I just thought it was a lovely idea for using up scraps. We've got silk organza on our site, so the sheer stuff that I think they used in the show, so you could recreate something similar with that. I'll pop a link to that below for you. And the other thing I thought I would mention is that a lot of the bees struggled with the quilting, making the lines parallel. They struggled with and found difficult, and my top tip for that, if you're going to have a go, is to use a walking foot with a quilting guide. I'm going to pop a link to a tutorial video where I talk about walking feet and how you can use them in dressmaking, but I also show you the quilting guides in that as well. And just to mention as well that the machine they actually used on the show, the Janome 5060 QDC, that actually comes with a walking foot and an extension table, which I saw some of them using the extension table. I've done a full review of that machine that they use in the show, so I'll pop a link to that below as well, because we do sell that machine as well if anyone's interested in getting the one they use on the Sewing Bee. It's a lovely machine. But in terms of a pattern for the bag they made, it was like a rectangular shape with a flap that came over the top. It had a zip closure, and then it had a magnetic clasp to keep the flap in place, and a long strap. And I thought the pattern that we've got that was most similar is McCall's 8467, which has got a lovely rectangular shaped bag with an angular flap that comes over the top, some different options for customizing it, a long strap, and then you also get a larger bag pattern in there as well. And I should just mention that we've got lots of bag making supplies as well. We've got all the zips that you might need. We've got magnetic clasp, buckles, straps, all that sort of thing. So I'll pop links to everything for you below. And then on to the made to measure challenge. So this was really interesting as well, and really tested some of the other skills of the Sewing Bees, because they had to take a wedding dress and repurpose it into a party dress, and they were encouraged to do things like dye the fabric, paint the fabric, really get crafty and you know, do something different and unique with it. And lots of them did dye the fabric or paint it, so I'm going to pop links below as well to our fabric dyes and paints in case you've been inspired to try and repurpose some fabric and make something new. Who knows, maybe you might want to repurpose your wedding dress. I was really surprised how many Sewing Bee family members were happy to sacrifice theirs to be chopped up and repurposed into something else. There were some lovely little backstories in the show. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with what everybody made. So Alex, I think, was one of my favourite dresses. She took a sheer fabric and made a baby doll style sort of really voluminous dress. It had puff sleeves, it was really voluminous in the body, and then it had a big ruffle panel hem. And I thought, and then underneath that she took the sheer fabric, she dyed it or painted it. She used neon colours on it, which was really cool. She used neon colours on the overlocking threads for like a real standout contrast. And then she created a little bandeau top and shorts to wear underneath this sort of sheer overlay. Thought it was really funky. I just loved what she did. I thought it was lovely. And the pattern I thought you could use to recreate something similar is Vogue 1723. So this is that very full sort of trapeze dress style. It's got the really big voluminous puff sleeves. It's got a turtleneck, and you can make it in a mini version above the knee like Alex's, or you can make a maxi length version, but also I thought you could quite easily add a ruffle panel hem if you wanted to that. And then the fabric I would use if you're not cutting up a wedding dress is our gorgeous linen viscose fabric in this colourway. I thought that was really pretty and would work well for that dress. So that's my first choice. Next up was Suzy. Suzy, again, I really loved what she did. She created a V-neck sleeveless dress that was empire line with a sort of double circle skirt underneath it. And again, she did some sponge painting with fabric paint, looked really funky. I think a lot of the bees in the Made to Measure challenge had difficulties this week and had mishaps. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there were a few mishaps with some of the dresses. But the pattern, I struggled to find exact matches for lots of the dresses this week, but the pattern that I thought you could recreate something similar with is Vogue 9053, which is a lovely, very easy Vogue pattern. It's got that low V at the front, it's sleeveless, it's not empire line, it looks like it's on sort of the high or natural waist, and then it's got a flared skirt. But I thought if you wanted to, you could adapt this pattern to recreate something similar to Suzy. It's got a maxi version and a knee length version, and I just thought it was a rather lovely dress anyway for summer, and I would probably go for the maxi length version in this gorgeous lyocell fabric. I think it is a lyocell fabric. It's this beautiful sage green colour. I managed to get more of it in. It's been so popular, so silky soft, and I thought it'd make a really beautiful maxi version of that dress. Next up, I'm going to go through Georgie. So Georgie she took a wedding dress that was lace and beaded, and it had a bustle on it, and she transformed it from something really quite sort of busy with lots and lots of detail, and she transformed it into a simple slip dress with a lovely low cut scoop back and spaghetti straps. Again, couldn't find an exact match to that pattern, but I did find New Look 6373, which I think looks like a really good pattern. I've looked at this before myself because it's got jumpsuits included, a romper or a play suit pattern included, but then it's got that simple slip dress similar to what Georgie made with a sweetheart neckline or a V at the front. It's got a little bit of a scoop at the back, not very low, not like Georgie's, but again, you could alter that if you wanted to. If you finish the edges with bias binding, you could cut a deeper scoop at the back, and it's also got the option for a gathered skirt as well if you wanted to do that. And the fabric I would use for the little slip dress is this gorgeous ditzy print. I just thought that would make a lovely simple summer dress. I can't remember if this is a cotton lawn or a viscose. I think it's a lawn. It feels like a lawn. But again, I'm going to pop links below, and all the full details are on our website. But I thought that would make a really pretty little slip dress. And then next I'm going to talk about Pasha. So Pasha made a black asymmetric one shoulder design with a big bow on it, which we always know people are trying to tick Esme's boxes with when they put a big bow on something. And then it had like a gathered short skirt. It was a really lovely party dress, and there's two patterns I looked at for this. The first one is Simplicity 9917, which is a Mimi G pattern. It hasn't got the on the shoulder design, the one shoulder design. It is a bandeau or strapless dress, but it's got a very similar style of skirt, sort of quite a full gathered mini skirt, and then that fitted bodice. And I thought you could add a strap if you wanted to with the bow, or the other alternative was Simplicity 9916, which is a much more fitted dress. It's much more of a sort of fitted shift dress with fish darts, but it has got that asymmetric one shoulder design with the bow on it, and you can go for a knee length version or you can go for a maxi length version. So two options there. And then I just thought Pasha created her dress in a classic sort of black evening dress fabric with a blue bow. I thought you could go for a classic black and white polka dot for either of those designs. Probably the Mimi G one. I think this fabric would be the right sort of fabric for that full gathered skirt, and I think it would look really pretty. So that was my choice for that one. And then next, Don, lovely Don, who's made umpteen wedding dresses and evening gowns and prom dresses for all of his daughters apparently, which I thought was lovely. He dyed his fabric red, and he made a very fitted bodice with a sweetheart or V-neck at the front, spaghetti straps, and then the straps crossed over at the back. There was a low back. And then he made a skirt which he ruched, and I think he sort of wished he'd put a bit more ruching into it, but you know, some really good ideas there. And the pattern that I found that I thought you could recreate something similar was Simplicity 8635, because it's got that very fitted bodice. I love this pattern as well. I really would like to make this. Very fitted bodice, waist darts, bust darts, the little V at the front, spaghetti straps, and then you've got the option for the straps to crisscross down the back, and for a very low back. You can make a jumpsuit or a play suit or romper. You can make a short dress or you can make a maxi dress, and I thought, you know, you could add your own ruche skirt to it if you wanted to, but certainly that crisscrossy design and the very fitted design of the bodice, that's all included in this Simplicity pattern. And the fabric I thought I would like to use for something like that is this gorgeous viscose satin, which I've managed to get more in. It has been so popular this summer. You can see why. It's beautiful, beautiful design. It's silky soft. It's just like a satin, but it's a viscose satin. Yeah, and I just thought that would make a real knockout dress with that pattern. So I've got lots more of that in stock. And then on to Luke. They used their mum's wedding dress and dyed it sort of a shocking pink, and then made like a real sort of 80s power suit style outfit. It had like really big puff shoulders and like an unusual crossover element at the front with like a bodice underneath and then a skirt. And you know, I was never going to find a pattern that was exactly like that, but I've got two patterns that I think are along a similar theme. So Vogue 1936, it has got definite power dressing 80s vibes. It's a suit. It looks like a sort of a formal blazer. It's got lapels and a collar. It's tailored and fitted, but then it's got like a cutout design at the waist, above like a waistband, and then a cutout below the waistband as well, and then it comes in sort of like either like a pencil sort of knee length skirt or a shorter mini length skirt. I think it's the coolest pattern ever. I love it. You know, there must be, I don't think I would find much use for this and many places to wear it, but if you are somebody who would, I would go for it because I just think it's fantastic. And in line of sort of Luke's efforts, you could go with our bright pink 7-berry cotton twill fabric to sew that one up. That would be perfect for that. But then also I did pick out another pattern because a big part of Luke's design was the really big sort of dramatic puff sort of sleeves. And I did pick out Vogue 1782 because I thought if anybody was looking for something similar, this pattern really, you know, reminded me of it. You've got those very dramatic voluminous sort of sleeve heads. And then you've got like a dress in two different lengths with long sleeves to go with it, but it was just all about the sleeves for that one. I thought I had to share that. And then on to Marcus. Marcus took his wife's wedding dress. Amazing that everyone was just so happy to sacrifice these dresses. But like they said on the show, they only get worn once normally, so I guess it's nice if they do get worn again as a result of a repurpose. But he made a lace waistcoat for a man and then some crop trousers. And the pattern I thought you could use for the waistcoat, he had lots of little buttons down the front because he used the multitude of buttons down the back of the original wedding dress on the front. Vogue 8987 is a sort of simple waistcoat pattern. You can add a collar or you can make it collarless, but that's got lots of small buttons down the front, so I thought you could make something similar with that. And I would probably whip that up in our black linen cotton mix fabric, which I made a navy blue waistcoat in this fabric recently, and it's absolutely lovely. presses beautifully. I block fused it with some of our 410 interfacing, I think it was, and it just worked out really, really well. I was really pleased with the end result of that. And then for the trousers, we didn't have any crop men's trousers, but we've got a chinos and Bermuda shorts pattern. I thought you could lengthen the Bermuda shorts if you wanted to. That's Vogue 1896. Just very classic, simple chinos and Bermuda pattern. And again, our 7-berry cotton twill would be ideal for that. I've got just the classic chino beige colour here, but we do it in a range of colours, so you can jump on and check those out. And then Ailsa made something really quite different and dramatic. She made a corset, and then she put a tulle overlay over the top of that, and then she made a skirt and used kilt straps and pins to sort of try and create different levels in the skirt. So for the corset, I chose Butterick 5662. It was a corset that laced up at the front. Lots of corsets lace up at the back, but Butterick 5662 does lace up at the front, has got a strapless option and an option with straps. So that was the one I thought you could use to recreate something similar to Ailsa's. We've got lots of satins and things like that on the website, and crepes that you could use. I'll pop links to those below for you. And then for the skirt, I thought Vogue 1872 was like a similar sort of theme, because it's a very dramatic handkerchief hem. It's a wrap skirt, but it's got a handkerchief hem with lots of different levels on the hem. And I just thought that reminded me of what Ailsa was trying to create with her straps and kilt pins and what have you. So I thought that could be something along a similar theme, and I thought that would look lovely sewn up in our linen cotton mix fabric in this floral design. Thought that could look really pretty sewn up in that, and just paired with a simple white top for summer. And then finally, Lauren made a real sort of party girl outfit. She made a puffball skirt that was sort of fitted round the waist, and then had a really dramatic sort of ruffle, puffball sort of effect. And then she made a little cropped bandeau top. Again, struggled to find that one. I think if I was going through the 1980s pattern archives, I probably would have been spoilt for choice, but right now there aren't that many puffball skirt options out there. So what I did come up with instead was, I thought, actually, you can't beat just a tiered skirt, can you? Especially this time of year, I love wearing a tiered skirt. And Simplicity 1110 has got options for shorter versions, versions with ruffled hems. It's got an option for a longer maxi version, lots and lots of different options in there, but I thought you could recreate something along a similar theme to Lauren. Probably views E and F. You could add maybe some additional tiers or ruffles to the hem of the skirt to recreate something similar, and I thought it would look great in this pink animal print fabric. I thought you could use that. I just took inspiration from Lauren's bold pink that she used, and yeah, just create a really fun party skirt with that. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was certainly a challenge for the bees this week. It was certainly a challenge for me trying to find the patterns. There's some really outlandish designs this week. Can't wait to see what they get up to next week. I hope you like what you see today. If you do, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.